Viewers, what is going on? Happy Tuesday and welcome back to Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. Hey, tonight's episode is titled Privacy, Probation, and Public Smears. All right, let's see who's joining us tonight in the chat. Let's see, Linnell Seiler, 1872. Welcome back to Celebrity Court. Oh, Linnell, you were here early today. Okay, I like seeing that. Lathea Robinson Smith, 4075. Welcome back. Sandra McGee, always good to see your name. Essie Stone, welcome back. Essie Stone, welcome back. Davis 62 151. Welcome back. Doreen Price, good to see your name. Welcome back. Nisha Phillips. All right. That's how we do here in DC. Yes, it is cold. It feels like it's 15 degrees. Welcome back, Nisha Phillips. It wouldn't be the same without seeing your name. Brenda K, always good to see your name. Welcome back. Sandra McGee. JP Mills, yes, JP Mills. Welcome back. Happy Tuesday. SL Warrior, hello. Val Rice, hello. Caramel 1977 Cancer. Welcome back from Clarksville, Tennessee. Ooh, where is Clarksville, Tennessee? I would like to know. Tafia, is that how you say her name? Tafia, welcome back. Prophetess M.M. Millette, welcome back. Hello, my beautiful brother. Pisces Unicorn, good to see your name. Where you been, Pisces Unicorn? Welcome back. I am her 423. Welcome back. Antoinette Jackson, that seems like a new name. Antoinette, welcome if this is your first time joining us. Like Minds 420, welcome back. Melina NC, what's going on? Hey, Al and Algorithm, what's going on, Melina? Donna 5387, welcome back. Glad you're here. Cheryl Williams, welcome back. Shauna Jackson 1441. Hey, Al, what's up, Shauna Jackson? Welcome to Celebrity Court. Oh gosh, Rakeya. Thank you for spelling that for me. I'm so glad because you know I will butcher it. Pepsi GME. Hello. Afro Sings. Come on, Afro Sings. When are you singing in DC again? I haven't heard from you. I am her 423. I do remember you today. Thank you so much. Welcome back. All right, everybody. Welcome to Celebrity Court of Public. Welcome to Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. Tonight, the headlines are loud. The internet is reckless. And I do mean reckless. And the law is about to do what the timeline wants. And that is slow down and get specific. Our first topic tonight is a royal couple returns to London's High Court claiming tabloids built empires off unlawful intrusions. But guess what? The publisher says, we reported it fair and square and nothing we shared was illegal. The second case of the night, an NBA champion is arrested for DUI in Las Vegas, again, reminding us that the road doesn't care about your fame, and especially if you're doing it while drinking. Our third case is about Justin and Hailey Bieber. They fire off a cease and desist at a TikToker who accused of pushing the narrative of abuse and addiction in their marriage. And now we're back to the legal question people hate. What's opinion and what's defamation? We're going to find out from the lawyers what's the difference. And last but not least, yes, it has the internet and social media all in an uproar. Don Lemon, yes, our Don Lemon, former of CNN, is under federal scrutiny after coverage of a protest inside a Minnesota church, with also the Department of Justice officially announcing publicly that they're warning potential legal exposure. Now, this is what I need everyone to remember. This is not criminal court. This is a court of public opinion. And here, I bring the facts. My attorneys bring you the law, and you, the viewers, you all decide who's guilty or not guilty in the court of public opinion. Court is officially in session. All right, joining us tonight, our legal beagles, we have Sean Carter, Shatan Turner, and Jason Weiss, counselors. Welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Glad to be everybody, back.
How you doing?
Jason, you alive over there? You're on mute.
I was letting them go first. I didn't want to talk over anybody.
All right, great job. All right, everybody, we got some interesting cases, and we're going to need you to put your legal beagle caps on because tonight it is good. First up, Privacy, power, and the price of a headline. You heard it first right here. First up, we are in London at London's High Court. Now, Prince Harry and other high profile claimants, including Sir Elton John and Elizabeth Hurley, are suing Associated Newspaper, y'all. Yes, the publisher of the Daily Mail, you know, that god awful mail, Daily Mail and Mail, you know, that god awful tell everybody's business worse than the Inquirer. Well, this happened on Sunday, alleging unlawful information gathering over the years. Now, this is what they claim. This claim includes things like voicemail interception, blagging for private information. I don't even know what blagging is. I can't wait to ask the lawyers, as well as, check this out, using private investigators. While the publisher denies wrongdoing, they say that their reporting has been nothing but legitimate, and the sources that they use are just as legitimate. Now, Harry is expected to testify during this trial. Now, for you algorithms, so you know, this is a civil privacy case, all right? The fight is about how information was not used, but obtained. It's very important that you understand this. It's not about how the information was used, but how it was obtained. So was it lawful or unlawful, and whether the publisher is liable for those methods. All right, I'm going to go to you first, Attorney Sean Carter, because this is my question in plain English. All right, how does Sir Elton John and Harry, what do they actually have to prove? Do they have to prove publication harm, unlawful methods, or the connection between the two, if the case is all about how the information was obtained?
Fortunately, interestingly enough, this is not like a defamation case where you have to prove that they said something bad about you. They could have said something good, like Meghan actually likes him. All right. But here's the bottom line, and she don't, but that's not the point. The point is this, though, is that this is an unlawful methods case. And basically saying is, we don't care what the information was, good, bad, or indifference, you use bad methods to get it. The blagging thing, that's not blogging. That's different. Blagging is basically they impersonated hospital personnel and went into hospitals and got his records. He also says they tapped his phone. They were doing all kind of stuff, right? Basically, they were being like my wife. All right. And they said, you can't do that. All right. You're not married to him. You can't do that. And as a result, he's saying, I don't care what you said. If you did these things, you violated my privacy rights. And therefore, I want all of the Daily Mail.
Wow. Okay.
Sean, your wife don't care.
That's why I got my phone in my pocket right now. But go ahead.
You know you're not going anywhere. Jason, how do the courts balance press freedom against privacy rights, especially when the subject is a public figure and the stories are definitely of interest in the monarchy as it relates to the monarchy?
So basically what the courts are going to balance out is, and again, just like Attorney Carter said, it has nothing to do with the information that got out. It's really how they got this information. If they were to get it lawfully, right? Let's just say they're walking down the street and he has a piece of paper and he throws it on the sidewalk and someone picks it up and reads it. That's okay, right? Maybe even going through his trash on the side of his house. That's okay. But the focus here is what Attorney Carter said, which is that blagging, where they're pretending to be people that they're not. They're pretending to be a cable repairman and going in and snapping pictures of the house. They're pretending to be a nurse and helping out in the hospital, or a janitor and picking up trash. So that's where all of this boils from. And the fact that, they're putting things out there, again, not like the US. The UK is very strict on what you can put out there.
All right, let's read some of these comments. JP Mills says that's really violating one's privacy. Afra Singh says definitely shouldn't have press tapping their phones and hacking their emails. It's crazy. Afra Singh also says breaking into their place by pretending to be a nurse taking care of their babies or something is crazy. Colette Davis says violation of privacy. Attorney Turner, tell me then, what's the evidentiary battlefield here? So is it phone records, how they got them, investigator invoices? Like, how do they know they actually did it illegal? Is it witnesses? Is there a pattern? And how hard is it to prove? Because this would be called scooping in journalism. How hard is it to prove the source of a scoop?
Well, first of all, scooping is not a limitless thing, right? They have to get their scoop within the bounds and the confines of the law, and that's what this case is about. So, in this case, whether or not the information was obtained unlawfully will be established by a series of facts. There'll be all of the things that you mentioned. There will be witnesses, there will be an evaluation of phone records and other techniques. You have to think about it. If the goal is to prove that the process or the method was unlawful, then all the evidence that you would want to seek would be designed to prove that you wouldn't have been able to obtain this information some other way. If you happen to get it through the phone, but it was also in the newspaper, right? The method is still problematic because that's how you got it. And the reason why these kinds of claims exist is because if it was only about whether the information was damaging in some way, then the unlawful methods would never be curtailed because they'd be like, oh, as long as I found information that people want to know about, then it would be fine. You know, if you found out someone was pregnant, right? If you found out I was pregnant, it'd be a scandal for a variety of reasons. But if you found out that some like married woman was pregnant and you weren't trying to allege it was someone other than her husband, but perhaps she didn't want the information out yet because it was under 12 weeks and she might miscarry, right? All of those things are something that the public has an interest in trying to protect the privacy and the that only lawful methods are used.
So, you know, the monarchy has been around for over 1,000 years. The king queen thing has been around for more than 1,200 years. You know, Britain itself has been around for 400 years. Tell me, why now is this allowed? Because they've been doing this for years. We know that it's over 2 decades since you know, Princess Di, you know, how they were all in her face, getting all that information about who she was sleeping with. Why now? Why are the courts all of a sudden today allowing this if this has been illegal for a while?
I think the reasons for that is because simply that the royals in the past just didn't sue. I mean, you know, it's weird. It's only in like 2020 recently where political figures are starting to sue. That used to be just a part of being a royal. All right, you got a big old house and you had to sleep with somebody you were related to, and you ended up getting talked about in the press. And quite frankly, if they willing to give me $10-12 million a year, you can talk about me too.
Wow. All right, well, let's go and let's ask all the 3 lawyers. I guess we have gotten the understanding here. Tabloids can be villains, and maybe the royals aren't whining too much. How strong is this case from a 1 to 10? Jason Weiss, what say you?
You know, because it's over there, it's pretty strong. I'd say it's about a 7 or an 8.
Attorney Turner, a scale of 1 to 10, how strong is the case, and do you think they'll settle before this goes to court?
I think this is a 9.5. And the reason is Harry's already been successful in similar cases against another news outlet. And so I think he has momentum.
All right. Attorney Carter, wraps up 1 to 10. How strong of a case you think it is here?
About a 7. And for the reasons that Attorney Turner said, and quite frankly, Harry is tired of trying to sell candles with Meghan online. So I'm sure he's going to want to get this money.
Yep.
Oh God! You know, am I the only one that feels bad for him? I really feel bad for him.
I love Meghan. I love Meghan. I think she's doing all kinds of things to him, which is why he left the monarchy with a smile. And she's continuing to do those things. And I think there's a lot of haters against Meghan. She's just a little girl trying to get a break.
She had a break. She was a princess and she gave that up and made it. Now they got to be on Etsy all damn day trying to sell candles that smell like her hoo-ha. The hell with that. She owe that man a crown.
But they're free.
Baby, she got that good because he done left 1,000 years of history behind for that woman, Meghan. All right, let's keep it moving. All right. Keep that same energy about consequences, because next we leave the high court and we go and hit the highway where the law is immediate and the penalties can stack fast. Yep, you heard me correctly. Former NBA champion Lamar Odom was arrested in Las Vegas on a DUI-related allegation as well as booked on a misdemeanor charge, according to reports tied to the records and the court information that we've obtained. The story immediately hits a cultural nerve for many because Odom's personal history with substance struggles have been public for years. Now, people argue over what is context versus what's prejudgment, given the fact that he has been public about his battle with addiction. Now, this is what I need the algorithms to understand. A DUI isn't civil. A DUI is criminal. Now, the state must prove impairment under the law through either observation, tests, or chemical evidence. Depending on what's in the case file is what's going to determine if he's guilty or not guilty. All right, Attorney Weiss, you deal with a lot of this down in Atlanta. What are the usual building blocks of a misdemeanor DUI case? Is it stop justification? Is it the sobriety test? Is it breathing or not breathing, not wanting to breathe, refusing to breathe? Is it body cam? What and how do you get a misdemeanor DUI? What exactly is a misdemeanor DUI?
So it all starts with the reasonable suspicion, right? So that's where it is. You see the car swerve, you see it go over a line, you don't come to a complete stop, you run through a stop sign, so they pull you over for that. The misdemeanor is going to be, look, the more you cooperate, the more you do, the more you are polite, the lower your blood alcohol level is. I mean, you could be the most polite person on the planet and you could blow, something that's double or triple the limit. That's a felony and that's it. But, look, if you're right there or just slightly above, they could look for a misdemeanor and they could do that. But again, it all starts with reasonable suspicion. So my suggestion is when you're driving after you've had one drink or driving after you've had a dozen drinks, don't give them reasonable suspicion.
Right. Well, in this case, we've said this 100 times on this show, especially as a celebrity who's got money, you shouldn't be driving and drinking at all. All, because you're putting other people's lives in jeopardy. And to me, I don't care how much I like him. I think he's a cool guy. He's overcome a lot. You remember in his interviews, he talked about he died like 7 or 9 times. He's overcome a whole lot. If I'm not mistaken, he has this crazy storied past, his family being adopted or foster care, something like that. But come on, Lamar. Come on, you can do better. Attorney Carter, let me ask you this, though. Walk the jury, the algorithms, through likely outcomes, especially for someone who has a past history. Does he do fines? Does he go to class? He's been to God knows how many rehabs. Does he have license consequences or probation? What's typical and what changes if the aggravating factors exist like his past or priors?
Yeah, and so, for instance, if it's a normal case, right? This first time you ever did, Fast and Furious in front of the circus, all right? Then you'd have like a $4,000 to $1,000 fine, mandatory DUI school, right? Sometimes they make you sit in front of other victims of fatal crashes and hear their stories. And then you'd have a 3-month to 6-month license revocation, where they basically take your license. Now, here's the thing is, in Nevada, we don't know what his blood alcohol level was because, quite frankly, if you're doing 100 miles an hour in front of circus, right, we don't have to even ask, right? You obviously on something, right? But we'll find out what his blood alcohol is. If it's twice the limit or 0.18, then the penalties kind of skyrocket. All right, you could look at, you got to have the little breathalyzer thing on your car for like a year to 3 years, mandatory substance abuse evaluation. And when you add that to, he was doing 41 miles over the speed limit. All right. Jeez. 41 miles over. All right. The speed limit. I don't know about you, but I've been in the strip. You can't go more than 6 miles an hour on the strip. Right. He going 41 miles over the speed limit. Right. And therefore, you got aggravated factors here. He can do a little jail time. Not a lot. Right. Usually a couple of days or maybe a week or a month or whatever. But he's definitely got a problem. In addition to the fact that the only thing he's got going for him is he used to be married to a Kardashian. And so I'm willing to give him a lot of time served. He already done served several years there. So he probably can get a little time served.
Got it. All right. So I see here, I am heard 423 said he needs to be in the clinic instead of running it. He did open up some clinics or something, right? Some rehab clinics. He needs to be in his own rehab clinic. Colette Davis says Lamar is so problematic. It's time that he get it together. Oh, let's pray for him. She also says all the men who date a Kardashian always end up in trouble. This is true. Hey, Christine R is back, everybody. God keeps saving him for a reason. I hope he finds his true destiny and start walking in it. I did too. I thought he found his destiny that last time. Brenda K says, I wish the brother well. I hope he can get his life together. Go back to counseling no matter how long it takes. All right, Shaitan, let's wrap it up with you first. You know, what do you do with a person like this, knowing his history? I mean, do you send him back to rehab? How does this play into the sentencing without turning into pure bias?
If I was representing him, that would be something I would offer up to the court, because lawyers who really value their clients want what's best for them. And he clearly needs help, and he's seeking his destiny. It appears at the bottom of a bottle or through a variety of drugs. And so we want to make sure that he gets the help that he needs.
Yeah, but he's had it. Several times.
It takes several times. I mean, he's also hit rock bottom and come back. And so this redemption journey is not a short one for some people.
So my question that I ask the lawyers all the time, this is what frustrates me. What if he killed somebody? We keep giving him all these second and third and fourth chances. Yeah. What if he continues to exhibit this reckless behavior, and this time he got away without killing anyone, going 41 miles over the speed limit? What if he kills someone while drunk? Like, when does consequences outweigh rehab?
That's going to be a massive.
Yeah. Sorry.
That'll be a massive civil suit if he kills somebody. And they're going to bring in, and look, you know, the lawyers can go ahead. They can bring in the prosecutor that didn't press charges, the judge that didn't press charges, the police officer that didn't fill out the report. But again, yes, he's getting all of these chances because thank God nobody was hurt and all it is. But look, take away his driver's license. Allow him to go through rehab. Allow him to get, sober. Allow him to fix, all of this. And don't allow him to drive anymore. I'm not saying put him in jail. Okay, let's get him the help. The first thing you do, let's take away his driver's license.
Got it. Okay, I like what Caramel 1977 said. He can call Bruce Jenner. He got away with it.
Well, that whole, don't get me started about that case, because there's some interesting timeline issues with that, I think, if you look at that. But I think Attorney Weiss has his finger on the pulse of what needs to happen. It's a combination. It's rehab plus, right? Rehab plus either taking his license or putting that machine on the car so it doesn't move if he's intoxicated. I mean, in this case, there was evidence of the speeding. There was evidence of him swerving. It was observation. It was all of the things. And so you're right. They need to take it seriously.
All right, so let's go, lawyers, really quickly. We got to keep it moving. Lawyers, really quickly. Based on how these cases typically move, what's the most likely short-term legal path? Attorney Sean Carter, is it a quick plea, a diversion options? What do you say?
Quick plea and diversion.
All right, Attorney Turner?
Quick plea and diversion.
Attorney Weiss?
Quick plea, telling him to have diversion, and hopefully he'll actually do it.
All right, there you go, algoritmos. All right, and now we go from the criminal charges to internet allegations, where people speak with confidence, post with speed, and forget that words can create liability. And this TikToker will soon find out. But before we get into this case, be sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to also hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, be sure to hit that share button. Invite some friends over. Turn on your notification. As always, keep jumping down in the chat. Now, this is very interesting to me, this case. Justin and Hailey Bieber's legal team sent a cease and desist to TikToker creator Julie Thies, objecting to viral content that allegedly claim their marriage is abusive and that Justin is an addict. Now, this is a warning of legal consequences, and they also said that they will seek legal ramifications if they continue. Now, we all know a cease and desist is not a court filing, but it is somewhat of a legal warning, which is basically saying stop or we're going to sue. All right, so for the algorithms, remember, defamation requires a false statement presented as a fact that harms reputation. I want us to stay there with that as the lawyers explain to us again about the difference between free speech and defamation. Let's start with you, our former law school professor, Attorney Turner. All right, what's the legal difference, right, between, in my opinion, this relationship seems unhealthy versus he is an addict and therefore abusive? Where does it cross the line? But before you answer, bailiff, take it away.
I received a cease and desist letter from attorneys representing Hailey Bieber in an attempt to intimidate me and silence me. Of course, that's in my opinion, which I am legally allowed to have. What I shared were my opinions. It was a psychological and sociological thought piece on why some relationships last. And being offended by the opinions that I have does not entitle you to erase people's voices. This is so elitist to me. Truly behold the temper tantrums of the rich. And this
All right, so let's go back to you, attorney. Former law school. This is a law school question, right?
Yeah.
What's the difference between, in my opinion, because that's what she's saying, versus he's an addict and therefore abusive?
So there's two things. The first one is, as somebody who's an influencer, just because you're an influencer doesn't mean you get to go online, say your opinion, present it as fact, try to make people believe that somehow you have some sort of authority or background to support it, and then say, well, it's just my opinion. In this case, you have to go down the elements of defamation, as you indicated. You know, they made a statement about the plaintiff. It was false. It was seen or it was published in some way. In this case, it was on the internet. And there was the intent to make this false statement, and it caused damage. So in this case, I think the Biebers are going to say this has caused us psychological damage. This has caused damage to us professionally by interfering with appearance fees, and the long-lasting effects are really unknown. And so in order to accomplish our goals, we need to silence her. And we're not silencing her because she's a small voice. We're silencing her because her voice is amplified. And Hailey's going to say, and she's lying about my man. I am not oppressed. You know, he is not a drug addict, even though he's skinny with a bunch of tattoos and has bags under his eyes all the time. You know, we are happy and you are lying.
All right, well, Christine R. says, I don't think Justin is an addict, but I do think he has loose booty trauma. Diddler. Nisha Phillips says, legal, keep my name out your mouth notice is what a cease and desist is. Afra Singh says, but what did she actually say? She basically said that Justin Bieber allegedly has a drug addiction, and that he's abusive to the wife and treats her really bad. All right, JP Mills 5643 said, girl, mind your business and stay out those folks' marriages. I like that one. JP Mills also says she also spoke about the Obamas and Beyonce. We don't mess with the Obamas now. Hold up. We don't play about the Obamas. All right, Attorney Carter, let me ask you, why the cease and desist then? You know, like you have, like, what is that strategy? Is that evidence building, or is that a chance to stop harm before filing? What's the point of a cease and desist? Because for most of us, we already know that really means nothing.
Well, it's basically all three things you said. All right. One, all right, the biggest thing is this. All right, when you file a cease and desist, you do a couple of things. All right. As far as the strategy, you obviously want them to take it down, right? And it kind of intimidates people. Evidence building, and here's big, is what you say is that's not true. And remember, malice for a public figure, if you get defamation, you have to prove malice, which is that not only did you say something that was not true, but you knew it was not true. So when you send a cease and desist letter, what you're saying is, I'm telling you this is not true. If you keep saying it, then you're really going to be in trouble because you knew it wasn't true. That's part of what got Tasha K in a lot of trouble, is that Cardi B kept telling her, I don't have cooties. All right, you keep saying I got cooties. I tested negative for cooties last week. All right, and therefore you in trouble. And so the cease and desist is part of the strategy here. Really, all they wanted to do is take it down. But I got to tell you, on this case, I'm not really mad at her. She says he's an addict. He is an addict. Even if he's clean now, Once you're an addict, you're always an addict. That's technically how addiction works. Secondly, she said he's abusive. He didn't say he punched her in the face. He said he's abusive. Guess who else is abusive? According to the women I know, every man on the planet. All right. You know how many people say I abused my wife because I only bought a Coach bag and not, a Valencia Baga, whatever thing I can't pronounce. All right. So the point is, we use abuse all the time now. Seriously, think about it. How many times have you seen someone say, this is part of it? That's part of the case. And so I'm like, she didn't really say anything. And why Justin Bieber decided to take her $500,000 followers and give this video 10 million views by filing this cease and desist, I'll never know.
And that's what I want to hone in on. He hit the nail on the head. This cease and desist letter was supposed to be them flexing, saying that, look, if you don't take this down, we're going to come after you. I tell clients this all the time. If you're going to fire that shot, be prepared, because someone like her is going to take that letter, post it on the internet, and all of a sudden quadruple and 10 times the amount of views. And that's what happened here. So you need to be very careful with your cease and desist letters, what you say, who you send them to. Look, if it's someone that, used to work for you and they took company stuff, or they go on Glassdoor and they're rating your company as poor, I get it, right? But this is an influencer. This is someone on TikTok who has 500,000 followers. Now she has 10 million followers.
All right, Jason. Jason said that too fast, like he buying Birkins in these streets. Let me find out. Christine R says, I'm overdue for a spanking, Jason. I won't file charges. Afrosine says, now Christine R really gonna be acting up for if he buys her a Birkin. All right, lawyers, let's give it to me now. How strong is this case for the Beavers? I mean, how strong is the case for Justin and Hailey Bieber? Is this a strong case, or is this a strategy that backfired? Attorney Carter, what say you?
I don't think it's a strong case at all, but I think it is going to be keeping the rest of the bloggers from keeping his name out of their mouth.
Attorney Turner?
So I think this case is interesting, and the merits of it, I think, are not as strong as we'd like them to be, because she also isn't sharing new information. I've heard this information in various forms from other influencers, but I do think the cease and desist was a necessary tool for them so that they can tell the judge they put her on notice and she refused to listen. And the fact that they're going to take it to the mat, I think, should be a silencer to other influencers for other celebrities.
Got it. Okay, Jason, a 1 to 10, how strong is the case?
I disagree with both of them. I think this case, I think it backfired, and I think other influencers are going to say, you know what, a cease and desist, that's going to increase people views and people liking. Screw it, I'm going to go for it. So I think it backfired.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a very interesting concept. All right, I like that. All right, now take everything you know about speech and consequences and raise the stakes, because our last case sits at the intersection of protests, journalism, and federal, yes, you heard me correctly, federal civil rights scrutiny. Oh my goodness, the internet is all in a buzz because former broadcaster Don Lemon, is facing intense scrutiny after covering a protest that disrupted a church service at City's Church in St. Paul's, Minnesota. Now, the Department of Justice Civil Rights leadership publicly warned about possible legal consequences, and the president himself has also leaned in. While Lemon has defended his action as journalism and First Amendment activity, he is saying that he did nothing wrong. Now, what's important to understand here is that scrutiny and investigation are not convictions. But when federal officials put someone on notice, it signals they're looking closely at the conduct, especially in this instance, to see if they believe that it was, in fact, interference with protected activity. Oh, this is really, really bad. So for the algorithms, this is what you need to know. This becomes a legal question of role. Was he there documenting or participating. And what laws might apply depends on what happened inside the building and who did what. Let's break this down completely. Sean Carter, I need to know everything that they are arguing here. Help the jury understand the bright light. What's the difference, or what differentiates protected news gathering, because that's what he said he was doing, from conduct that could be framed as aiding disruption and intimidation? What are they saying he did in that church?
They're saying he did more than just show up. He actually helped. So one thing he did was, we know he did on camera, is he got them donuts, which is not necessarily a problem, but also he knew about it before. So if there are text messages in which he said, hey, this is the right church to go to, we can get there by going this door, we should, do, if he's coordinating this, then he has a potential problem. And the potential problem he has is that what the protest did was that it's weird. They're saying it violated the Ku Klux Klan Act, which is ridiculous. All right. The Ku Klux Klan Act was passed to prevent the Klan from committing violence against Black people. And what they're saying is that this peaceful protest on behalf of civil rights was a Ku Klux Klan Act. That's not going to happen. But the FACE Act is the act that tries to protect people getting access to abortion clinics. And what that act says is, hey, if you block the entrance to an abortion clinic, that's a crime. And not only that, but if you disrupt a church service, that's also a crime. And we would understand that if you were to disrupt a synagogue, a mosque. We don't normally think of the Christians as being this oppressed group, because they're not. But the weird thing here is, this is the thing we all have to understand, is that disrupting a church service is in many states a crime in the state level, and it's a federal level. And some of y'all need to know this, because I've been to Black church with some of you. All right. And y'all like to fool up in there. All right. Miss Jenkins going to get the Holy Ghost. All right. Some of y'all don't want to get up and talk about how the pastor done, slept with your man or woman or whatever. You understand that actually technically is disrupting the church service, and you can be prosecuted, and people occasionally do.
All right. Attorney Turner, let me ask you this, because this thing's very interesting. Jason, what's on your mind over there?
Look. Forget about disrupting churches and forget about what the news media is saying. This got Nicki Minaj heated up. So if she's heated up, this has to be extremely important. And I actually think that either she or Don Lemon have something to say about this. And I really want to hear it right from one of their mouths.
All right.
It's hot.
Bailiff, take it away.
Nicki Minaj. I normally don't respond to things like this, but F it. I'm going to do it this time. I think Nicki Minaj has made it very clear how she feels about African Americans in this country. Boy, I don't think she's one of them, obviously. And she should, under Trump's rules, she should be deported, because I don't think, reportedly, that she is a legal citizen here. She is undocumented. And so she has shown her disdain for African Americans. So why are you supporting her? Why are you buying her records? She's also supporting, I have lots of gay friends who love Nicki Minaj. Why are you supporting this homophobic, bigoted, ignorant woman? You should not be supporting her. Nicki Minaj, this is clearly out of her depth. She doesn't understand politics. She doesn't understand journalism. And I'm not surprised that she is weighing in on something that is beyond her capacity. What I will say to her is, because she put a doll, I think she put the Chucky doll in there, a better symbol that should have been represented in that picture is a pick-me doll, because Nicki Minaj is a pick-me. She will do anything that is expedient for her politically. And again, she's ignorant. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She's always weighing in on things that she doesn't know about. Nicki Minaj should just sit the fuck down.
All right, John, we want to make sure and clear, that the reason why he's responded to Nicki Minaj is because she's saying he needs to go to jail, right? And that she called him a sea sucker, etc., etc. Tell me one more time, really quickly, and we're pushed up against time, so we need to stay quick and tight here. Tell me, I'm still confused. What did the man do illegally to the tune that now the Justice Department is involved? I'm not getting it. Can someone explain that to me, law professor?
The Justice Department is involved for the reasons that Attorney Carter mentioned. So this protest occurred inside of a church, and the pastor is alleging that they could not proceed with the service because the protesters were happening.
Got it.
Mr. Lemon is saying that he was only covering it as a journalist, and as Attorney Carter indicated, there's suggestion that he was actually complicit in what was occurring, which would make him a violator of the crime. I'm just glad that he does more than get drunk on New Year's Eve, because it's clear that he's got his journalistic chops back, and he's been, most noteworthy for all of his fun things on CNN where he slurs his words as the clock starts 12. But yeah, I mean, I'm just saying. And Nikki took it to the streets. That's what she does all the time. She dragged him through the mud. She insulted his sexuality. She insulted his journalistic integrity. And I don't even know why Nikki's in this fight. She doesn't live in Minnesota. She's just like blabbing.
All right. Lawyers, please remember we're really stretched for time. Let's go to you lastly, Jason. Tell me this. How do courts analyze intent and coordination, especially when they're saying that he incited this type of rebellion?
I think the intent's going to be really hard for them to prove because they're going to have to show he planned, he prepared, he performed, he went ahead and did it, and that's why he was there. If it was like a spur of the moment, like I'm going to be there, and then all of a sudden it happened, intent is gone. So it's going to be real difficult.
All right, Nisha Phillips says she better not be trying to get that a pardon. Yep, that's what Dawn is saying. She's trying to get that pardon. Okay, really quickly, lawyers, how strong is this case in one sentence based on what we've seen or read so far? How strong is this case, Attorney Carter?
Very weak, and the feds are not likely going to bring it because no federal prosecutor likes to lose. They win like almost all their cases. Nobody wants to take an L on this one.
All right, Attorney Turner, one sentence, please.
I need more information.
All right, Attorney Jason Weiss.
I need more information.
All right, okay, that's it. You heard it from the lawyers right there. All right, this is the part of the show where we go to you, the jury room, which are the algoritors. This is the viewer verdict segment where you have 5 guilties will get you a guilty plea, 5 not guilties will get you a not guilty plea. All right. All right, this is where you participate. You are the judge of who decides it's guilty or not guilty. First up, jump down in the chat, everyone. Jump down in the chat, please. First up, Prince Harry versus the tabloids. Are the tabloids guilty or not guilty of being too involved in those people's lives? Guilty or not guilty? Are the tabloids guilty or not guilty of being too involved in Harry's life? Put in the chat, guilty or not guilty. We need 5 guilty pleas in order for the tabloids to be found guilty. Guilty, 1 guilty. We need guilty or not guilty. 2 guilties, 3 guilties. All right, guilty or not guilty. 4 guilties. 1 more guilty. 1 more guilty. 1 more guilty. Christine R. guilty. All right, the tabloids are found guilty. Guilty is charged for doing too much. Next up, Lamar Odom. Is he guilty or not guilty of driving while under the influence? Jump down in the chat. 1 guilty. Jump down in the chat. 2 guilties. That's what Stone says. He's guilty. 2 guilties. 3 guilties. Brian and Simone. Lamar Odom probably nowhere. Okay. Lamar Odom guilty. SL Warrior guilty. 1 more guilty. Is Omar for scenes guilty. Lamar Odom guilty. Guilty as charged. Next up, Bieber. Is the TikTok creator guilty or not guilty of making up lies? Is the TikTok creator guilty or not guilty making up lies? Doreen Pierce says guilty. That's 1 guilty. Guilty or not guilty? Is the TikToker guilty or not guilty of making up lies? Guilty. 2 guilties. 3 guilties. Is the TikToker guilty or not guilty for making up lies? Guilty. Editot guilty. 1 more guilty. All right, guilty. The TikToker is found guilty. Guilty is charged. Last but not least, is Don Lemon guilty or not guilty for inciting a riot? Guilty or not guilty? Is Don Lemon guilty or not guilty for inciting a riot? Guilty or not guilty? Is Don Lemon guilty or not guilty? Jump down in the chat. Guilty AF, guilty of not. Okay, not guilty. Alfred Singh says not guilty. Essa Stone says guilty. Dominic Starr says not guilty. Ivory Davis says not guilty. 3 not guilties. Not guilty. 4 not guilties. 1 more. Not guilty. All right. Don Lemon is found not guilty. Not guilty of inciting a riot. There you go. You have the verdicts there. Tonight we learned something simple. Privacy isn't weakness. It's a right the powerful often have to fight for. A DUI isn't a scandal. It's a safety issue. Geez, come on, stop it. A cease and desist is the legal system's way of saying stop talking reckless or prove it in court. And when the government starts talking about investigation, the smartest move is the oldest one. Let the facts speak. And we have spoken here in the Court of Public Opinion. I'm your Judge Al Reynolds, and this is Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. Be sure to like, subscribe, and drop the next case you want on our docket. Court is now adjourned. Thank you for joining, everybody. Have